Heyo! Welcome, Ratlings! I'm Paranoid Rat, and I draw stuff. So, a bit ago, I did a video with my tips for designing a character and all that fun stuff. And designing a good character on their own is hard enough. But what about a whole group? Or a trio that all contrast and complement each other in a cohesive way? One big character design made up of three separate character designs. Essentially what I'm saying is, it is hard, and I'm going to be doing that today and talking about my process to making a cohesive alignment of characters. And with tips and such, and just general suffering. Since this task was apparently not hard enough for me, I asked you all on Instagram for random character design ideas, of which I picked 3. Generally, when I do a design like this, I already have a world and story and ideas for the characters, but for this video, I am starting completely from scratch and showing that with enough time and thought, anything can be a cohesive design, even 3 completely random character prompts that I just chose because I liked them and not because I thought of any sort of similarities between them. I had a lot of good suggestions, thanks for those by the way, and I chose these 3. 2 people said a star person, and 2 people said bird-related things, and then there's a cloud one, so that the 2 that already had like 2 people suggesting them, it just felt right, you know, because multiple people said it, so I should probably do that one. And I just like the cloud one because it gave me ideas. This is the part that takes the longest. Again, I am starting from nothing beyond these prompts I have in front of me. I had some ideas for the cloud person and just started there messing around with just different looks. Again, I have nothing. And I'll be calling Cloud Girl Zia for ease's sake, because that's what I end up naming her in the end. I had absolutely no idea about genre or setting or time period, anything. I dabbled in the idea of it being set sometime in like the 1900s. Experimenting with different time periods, even had an idea of like a vintage zombie apocalypse sort of thing. Where like I started to like get happy like how I liked her in that, but once I started to draw a star character, Huron known as Nash, I was stumped and just had to move on. Again, this part takes a while, just let it happen, try ideas. Even if you don't know if you'll like it, but you have an idea, just try it. You might end up scrapping it altogether in the end, but it can spark something new, and at least you just tried it, and you'll never wonder if that could have led to anything, I guess. Just sketch. That's honestly the best I have here. Just try out things and work. As I worked, I was thinking about Nash, the star character. Like, were they literally a star? Were they humanoid? I'm just like trying to ask a bunch of questions about them and where they came from and who they were, just to have some context for how to make them look. And as I was drawing, I thought it would be cool to have them be some sort of like literal celestial being that fell down to Earth in like a human body. Or, you know, maybe not Earth, whatever planet they're on. Again, I have nothing here. And I really like that, so I ran with it. As I work, I'm cycling through all 3 characters and drawing them on their own first before I even try to make them work together. And just try and keep aspects of them in mind so they weren't too similar in some aspects and too different in others. Right now, I just need ideas and a solid foundation. I scrolled on Pinterest for a while, just looking for inspiration. For the bird one, who I named Snipe, I dragged out an old design I'd done like a year ago when I was bored. That was basically like a human version of a crow, which I used for like a jumping off point for him because I really liked that character and I never did anything with it. And I made some of the shapes a bit less extreme, just to fit more with the other characters here. And for this character, I wanted to give them a cloak. I don't know why. And I gave it like a ragged edge, which kind of like gave him like a scrappier look, which then led my mind to thinking maybe he was some sort of like scavenger. And honestly, like probably because I already like had tried to work on the other 2 first, getting to Snipe was actually like one of the easiest ones. And so once I had something I was okay with, I moved on. I didn't try to nail each one before I moved on to the next one. I tried to cycle through them so I didn't get like too hooked up on one character. So they all flowed together nicely. And I really like scavenger idea I had for Snipe, so I carried that over. Maybe they were in like a futuristic fantasy city. I did dabble in fantasy, but didn't like it as much. Maybe it was on another planet, like Star Wars-esque. Again, I kept asking questions. It's like visual brainstorming, essentially. I did a lot of sketches, a lot, and it might take you twice as long or half the time if you do this. It just depends on your personal speed and how long it takes you to hash out ideas, and if you find something you like sooner or later. But like, if you just work at it enough, you'll find something eventually. And for more inspiration, I looked at pictures of clouds for Zia, and I really like the ones with like a crescent moon in them, just because, you know, sky pictures. And I thought it's a cool shape, and I wanted to use it on her design, which then led me to remember this picture of these sharp things and saved on a Pinterest board forever ago because I wanted to use them for something in a design, and it was perfect. So with that, I naturally had to give her a metal arm, so it was basically her slicey hand. And as the idea evolved, so did the designs, as I just honed in closer on the idea and focused more on the actual design more than just the concept. This is where I was playing with silhouettes and shape language for each character. When I'm designing a trio or lineup, I really pay attention to their shapes and what choices I make for them. I wanted each to be able to stand out, and I knew I wanted Zia to be like the brawler of the group with just big hair and just take up a lot of space and be really tall and muscular. I was really inspired by Garnet from Steven Universe, broken and poor dumpster version. And since I had a big bulky character, I thought having a thin and scrawny one felt good for the contrast, which would go nicely with Snipe. And then for Nash, I just kind of put him in like a nice in-between, so like they look nice next to each other. Like they're each different, but it goes, and it works. Or if I'd had like two of them have like the same build, and then one that looked different, it would have been off. And maybe if that like made sense for the story, but for like a 3-character thing, paying attention to all the characters when I make a decision like that is really important to me. Now we're in the home stretch. I was really falling in love with these guys, honestly. The magic of brainstorming. Now, a lot of people say that when you design a character, they must have a story and a background and a backstory and wants and needs, which is understandable and can be helpful, but I think saying a good character needs to have all of that is kind of a load of bullshit. And you can design a great character just to be aesthetically pleasing, which I frankly love to do. But doing that for a group of characters like this is really challenging because it's hard to make them look good together without some reason for their existence. Now, do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. But making a story for these guys was exponentially helpful for their designs and informing all the decisions I made for them. I was thinking that it takes place in the future in a big city. I've been reading Dark Age and that whole series lately, so that probably influenced that decision a bit. Zia and Snipe are scrappers, best friends with a sort of sibling dynamic, I think. Zia is like the rough and tumble type, hence the missing arm, probably just went a bit too far there, and kind of the protector of the group. And since she's still inspired by clouds, I think she's prone to like mood swings and can go very quickly from gentle and friendly and bubbly to a human rainstorm that will cut you. Snape is the more closed off, like, contrast of her. In the original prompt, someone had said something about a blind crow, so he's blind in one eye, because, you know, that's fun. He is very prickly, where Zia throws herself into things. He watches from afar before making a decision and opinions and stuff. But since he is based on a crow, in part, they like shiny things, like me. Hence all the tiny bones and beads and shiny things on his design. I couldn't resist. So these two are just going about their life digging for treasure in the dump when a boy literally falls from the sky. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Nash, who they end up taking in and protecting from the government, who is hunting for him to exploit, most likely. He is kind of like more quiet and curious, and really not sure about the whole human thing, because, again, I'm not really sure about his lore yet. I did most of this at like 12 at night, so ideas are not fully fleshed out, but that's just like an idea, loosely. And I'm really thrilled with his design in the end. I tried to make his hair resemble a star loosely, and try to bring the star motif back in with his poncho thing, which took a while to figure out and not make him look like Kermit the Frog. And I know I've talked about this before, but color is key. So, like, I'm trying to make features, all of that stuff contrast and complement each other in like the shape language, but colors are really important to this too. Pick a color palette. This will save you a lot of tears and agony, trust me. I try to keep it a mix of like rusty browns and oranges with like dull blues and blacks. When I design a group like this, my general advice is to give each character a color theme, if that makes sense. Like, I made Nash very warm colors with oranges and yellows and browns and stuff, but then I focused more with blues and white with Zia, which contrasted really nice with her dark skin, which I thought looked pretty. And then Snipe was a lot more black focused. And then from there, I just mixed the colors so they all went together. Like, I gave, where Nash was primarily warm colors, I made his pants a like dark blue, which pulled in colors from other characters where they all just seem like they belong in the world together, and it meshes them nicely, and it makes my brain happy. So yeah, here, I suffered, and I love the result. I'm honestly considering working out their story more, because I've really fallen in love with these guys in the hours I've poured over them. I made the designs pretty detailed and complex, where if I were to make a comic or animation, I'd simple them down a lot, because redrawing this every time would be actual hell. But I love them so much, and I like detailed designs, and it feels right for their maximalist scrapper style. I kind of want to make them a little robot buddy. That'd be fun. Anyways, that's the video. Thanks for sticking all the way to the end. Pleasure doing business with you. If you like my art, you can subscribe here or follow me on Instagram or at my look at my Redbubble shop here, which has stuff on it. Until next week, you may leave now. Ciao.